We are tracking breaking news at this hour. Spokane police say an officer shot and killed a man in the Hilliard neighborhood after that man pointed a gun at officers.
It happened near the intersection of North Thor Street and East Garnett Avenue. That's about a block north of Cooper Elementary. KREM 2's Amanda Rowley is live at the scene tonight. And Amanda, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Mark and Whitney coming out here to the scene at Thor and Garnett. We just saw a forensic unit arrive on scene. We also have a Washington State Patrol and the Spokane County Sheriff's Office here investigating. Take a look at what this scene looked like earlier today. According to Spokane police, they received reports from two people who knew the suspect. They came over and say that they came over to calm him down. When they did tell police, they were able to take one firearm away from the suspect. But when police arrived on scene, they came across the suspect walking out of the house with what they believe was a gun. Police say the suspect pointed the gun to the west and turned it toward a person they believed, and that's why an officer yelled, told the suspect to drop the gun. And that's when the suspect turned and pointed the gun at the officer. That officer fired at least 2 rounds from a rifle, and the suspect died. Now here's what Chief Craig Meidel had to say a bit earlier this evening.
They actually came to the location to try to comfort him and help him through whatever he was going through. I also, again, this is very preliminary. The initial information is that initial contact, these 2 individuals did get one gun away from him before the officers arrived.
Now, we confirmed with Sergeant Terry Pruniger, the officer that fired those rounds from a rifle did have a body camera on him and it was recording. We were working to confirm that, and that is now confirmed. Coming back out to the scene here, because this was an officer-involved shooting, the SIR team is on scene. As I mentioned, Washington State Patrol and Spokane County Sheriff's Office here investigating. We did see some detectives knocking on doors looking for witnesses that could provide some information to what led up to this shooting this afternoon. Reporting near the Hilliard neighborhood, Amanda Rowley, KREM 2 News.
Amanda, thank you. And we will continue to follow this story. We'll bring you updates as we get them right here and on KREM.com. And be sure to follow us on Twitter and Facebook for the latest developments. In other news, people living in California are waiting to see if their power will be shut off again to prevent wildfires.
PG&E company leaders think they will have to cut power to about 200,000 customers. Those shutoffs start today and will continue through tomorrow. Another intentional power outage could happen next week as well, depending on the weather. Part of California are expecting dry, windy conditions once the weather calms down. Company leaders say they will inspect the power lines to make sure they are working properly before turning the power back on.
Now, there is another major utility company there, Southern California Edison. They also are considering shutting off power to about 160,000 customers. No word, though, yet on when that might happen. And at last check, there are 2 main wildfires actively burning in California. The Palisades fire is burning near Los Angeles. Only about 40 acres have burned so far, but that fire is creeping dangerously close to several neighborhoods. About 200 homes had to be evacuated when it started earlier this week, although many of those evacuation notices have been lifted. Several homes in San Bernardino were damaged after the Little Mountain fire swept through the area. Only 17 acres have burned so far, and that fire is now 80% contained. To weather here, fortunately, we are not dealing with wildfires burning in our area. We're seeing a typical October weather all across the board. Yeah, absolutely. Meteorologist Michelle Boss is in the Weather Center right this minute, tracking what we love, sunshine for the rest of the week.
That's right. October is definitely a transitional month weather-wise. We can have some big ups and big downs, and of course we had 3 days of rain, so that would be considered the down. But now we're getting a little payback here, so nicer weather, several days of sunny skies and seasonable temperatures right now on satellite and radar. No precipitation to talk about across the inland northwest, just a few high clouds out there. Gorgeous day with temperatures that warmed up into the 50s. We're currently sitting at 53 in Spokane, lower 50s across the Idaho panhandle, a little bit cooler down towards St. Mary's and Moscow, but still not too bad with sunny skies, and temperatures have warmed up into the 60s around Moses Lake and Othello. Here's a look at the next 12 hours. Nothing much happening weather-wise, just going to be a pretty quiet evening as temperatures settle down into the lower 40s. Mostly clear skies overnight. We'll bottom out in the middle 30s towards tomorrow morning, and the next 2 days are looking really nice. Sunshine tomorrow, highs in the mid 50s, pretty mild but very windy on Friday, a high in the lower 60s, and a big cool down for Saturday.
Michelle, thank you very much. A Post Falls mom is upset by this alternative lunch her son got when he ran out of lunch money. She posted this photo on Facebook and it's already getting a lot of attention.
KREM 2's Amanda Rowley explains why the district's nutritional director is not apologizing.
This is the photo Post Falls High School senior Caleb sent to his mom. He told her his lunch account is at negative $8.82.
I said that was gross.
Caleb's mom, Michelle Young, says she was unaware her son's lunch account got so low. She says the district notified her of the low amount with an email sent to an old account she does not regularly check. Young says she was glad to see her son at least had vegetables in this alternative meal, but she's appalled at the sandwich.
There was absolutely no protein in that, and the bun looks stale and moldy.
Young says the Post Falls School District's director of nutrition told her this alternative meal does meet nutritional standards.
She absolutely did not apologize whatsoever. She made it clear to me that it well meets the guidelines.
According to the district's website, students kindergarten through 8th grade are allowed 3 meal charges if they run out of lunch money, but high school students are not allowed any meal charges.
She stated that with the high school students, they do this so that they are held accountable.
The Post Falls School District says students who run out of lunch money can only choose an entree of either a cheese sandwich or peanut butter and jelly sandwich, but they can have as much vegetables as they choose. We checked in with Spokane Public Schools about its lunch money practices. Spokesperson Brian Coddington says if a student runs out of lunch money, they still receive a regular lunch, but it's credited to their account. Then the school notifies parents of the low amount.
Maybe within the community we can get a group to go to a school board meeting and get something changed in the district.
That was Amanda Rowley reporting. Well, tense moments in the nation's capital today. 24 House Republicans stormed into a secure testimony room in the impeachment inquiry.
We came today to express our strong outrage at what's happening in that secret room.
Some of those lawmakers brought their cell phones into the room, which is a major security violation. The protest delayed Laura Cooper's deposition for more than 5 hours. She is Deputy Secretary of the Defense Department. Her expertise is relations with Russia, Ukraine, and Eurasia.
Democratic Chairman Adam Schiff says transcripts of the closed-door meetings will be made public, and some of these meetings will be open to everyone. Schiff did not specify on when that will happen. Costs for Boeing 737 MAX planes are rising. The company added another $900 million in costs for the troubled MAX fleet. That caused a 51% fall in its third quarter earnings. Even though MAX planes are grounded still worldwide, company leaders expect to raise 737 products by next year. So if the aircraft passes FAA regulatory review, of course, Boeing engineers still developing new flight control software and pilot training programs for that aircraft. A big security change is in the works at Detroit's airport. You can now go past security and into the terminal without a ticket, something we have not been able to do in nearly 20 years. So we want to know, what do you think? Should people be allowed in without a ticket to the terminals? You can join this conversation by hitting the Vote Now tab on our KREM 2 mobile app. The security change is a pilot program, so it's not permanent. At first, many people thought it would weaken security measures, but it's actually adding more. You have to apply in advance for a pass to the terminal, and you still have to go through security screenings. Only a limited number of people will be able to access the terminals without a ticket. So the big question is, why the change? U.S. airport security leaders say it will allow more people to shop and dine at airports, ultimately boosting revenue. Also, people can spend more time with their loved ones, whether they're welcoming them back or saying goodbye. The Seattle-Tacoma International Airport tested a similar program last year. More than 1,100 people took advantage of it. SeaTac administrators are still deciding whether or not to bring it back. Pittsburgh and Tampa offer the program at their airports. So we asked you what you think, if you should be able to go to the terminal without a ticket, and it looks like so far about 46% of people say yes, 54% say no.
I'm kind of torn too. I'm not sure quite how I feel about that. It seems like it does open the door for maybe someone who might want to do something bad, but I also understand it can be very frustrating if you want to say goodbye to someone or welcome them home, that you have to wait outside the terminal.
And if you still have to go through security and apply for it, at least those measures are in place as well. So We'll see.
Well, yeah, we'll absolutely wait and see. How about this? It's an I-90 construction project that some drivers would agree has dragged on for just too long. For the last year and a half, crews have been repairing the I-90 bridge over Lake Coeur d'Alene near Wolf Lodge Bay.
So we wanted to know, when will it be done? As KREM 2's Taylor Vito found out, the project hit some unexpected delays.
Okay, North Idaho drivers, you know what I'm talking about. For a couple of years now, you've been coming down I-90 from Coeur d'Alene going towards Wolf Lodge, and then you come across this bridge construction project by Higgins Point. The good news is there's an end in sight. You'll just have to wait one more season. It feels as if the cones have always been here. Since the spring of 2018, crews have been repairing the bridge at what's called Blue Creek Bay. It's right by Higgins Point.
And really, that project is massive.
The goal is simple: to extend the life of the important bridge. The more than $10 million project has involved work both above the water and under. Divers have worked on the structure below the surface.
So anytime we're doing something, we want it to last.
But more than a year and a half later, traffic is still diverted onto just one half of the bridge, and traffic is dropped to 2 lanes. So what's taking so long? Well, the Idaho Transportation Department admits, yes, crews have hit some unexpected challenges and delays. Because of that, work will pause for a second straight winter and resume next spring. That wasn't planned.
With the weather coming like it is, we don't want a chance not getting the repairs done exactly right, so we decided to go ahead and table it, come back next spring and finish it so that the public has bridges for another 50 years there.
However, ITD says work is 90% done, and starting later this week, both sides of the bridge and all lanes of the bridge will be back open. It'll stay that way for the winter before work resumes next spring. And by then, even ITD's contractors will presumably be ready for a break.
And so we, I think, are all ready to take a breather from construction.
Outside of Coeur d'Alene, Taylor Vito, KREM 2 News.